Hey everybody, how you doing? Your Metal here for another reaction. Been a while, hasn't it been? Like 2 months since December. Yeah, I know. I've been occupied lately doing like personal work. I already finished my portfolio, my fourth edition, which is now on Lincoln. I had to divide it in two parts since it was a heavy one, so go check it out. It's links on the Instagram channel, so okay. So yeah. Why am I reacting to this? Well, as we all know, last week we already lost two interesting people. One was Gene Hackman. Anybody who haven't seen Superman know he's Lex Luthor. I also remember him from the movie Mississippi Burning, who plays an FBI agent along with Willem Dafoe. Which I always liked this character. He was like the, not by the books type. Rest in peace. And also another one, Sabrina Thatcher or Michelle Thatcher. Sorry if I butchered her name. Sorry about that. She recently passed away as well at a young age, like in her 30s. Like, wow. At first, where had I seen her before? Until I saw somebody show a clip of from Truth or Scare. If you don't know that show, from the Scary Kids, like, oh, okay. She's mostly known for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but this show, that's the first time I saw her. It was from Truth or Scare. For those who ain't from my generation, from the 2000s, I was born in 96, so I'm a millennial, or the last of the millennials. Sort of speaking. This show started from August 25th of 2001 to until it ended in 2003 and February 1st. Only has one season and 22 episodes. Mostly it talks about paranormal, UFO, that. And mostly use documentaries from existing, content. Like this one we'll react. This is their first episode called Castle Ghosts of England, and it's actually from the miniseries, which was hosted by Harding, aka the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge himself. Which, to tell you the truth, I didn't realize. So when I first watched that series when I was in senior year in high school, and I was like curious, like, oh, okay, so this is where it's from. And it was quite interesting. I was like, wait, where is this? Oh, okay, there. There's actually other episodes that are quite interesting. So they started with this first tidbit, but of course this is her narrating, Michelle narrating as the host, not Harding. But it's quite good. Because back in the early 2000s, I first saw this while I was like in kindergarten or first grade when this came out, and shit, it scared me. I am not joking. Imagine yourself, you're in 2000, October, this first came out, and Discovery Kids, along with, you're watching Tunstein, Kenny the Shark, Time Warp Trio, Growing Up Creepy, those good ones from back in the good old days. It could have no one besides Truth Scare, I couldn't remember. It involves like debunking the supernatural, kind of like fact or fiction, I believe. I don't know, horror fiction, whatever, fear or fact. I don't know. I can't remember the name, but I do remember some of the episodes. One of the Frankenstein. The other is about the Romanovs. The debunking if Anastasia survives the infamous murder of her entire family from the Bolsheviks during the rise of the Soviet Union, and the sinking of the RMS Empress of Ireland, where one of the hosts dived to the actual wreck of the ship, which I recall, and they actually show a human skull there. Like, okay, things got interesting. So yeah, this is actually the 4 episodes I did. I think it was the one that scared me more was Castle Ghosts of Ireland. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Lep Castle, that scene featuring the Elemental. And the funny part is they actually edited, because in the original documentary they show a decomposing skull. Yeah, imagine you show that to see the kids. They're like, I need a new diaper. So yeah, let's go check it out because it's been years. Plus, I want to see is how maybe it's time people rewatch this. It's on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel that has all 22 episodes. It's kind of cool. Let's check it out. Before we begin, did you subscribe? Hit the bell, like the video, and let's check it out. Let me just play. Oops, wrong button. And let's go.
Ancient castles are home to a treacherous past. And terrifying modern mysteries. Strange sounds.
Okay.
Bizarre visions.
If you remember, I saw the original, and I like how the people behind the show edit this to make it look like to separate the actual one to. And plus, you can hear Michelle narrating.
Truth or Scare is daring to enter the haunted castles of England.
Wow. Oh, they just look at that. Jesus Christ. Okay, the graveyard's. When I saw that graveyard, they're just like. Damn. Hear that thing, plus seeing the Scary Kids logo is like, damn. Oh.
Don't you just love a good ghost story? In England,
Hey, Mitchell.
1 out of every 7 people say they've seen a ghost. Lots of these strange sightings happen in and around historic castles. They say the spirits won't leave this world, and they refuse to move on to the next. The English countryside is known around
I know
the
I'm
world
talking
for
a
its
lot,
pastoral
but
beauty.
I like how they kept the original music
There are
theme
castles
from the
that
actual
conceal
documentary, and they have to dub
Ghostly
over
apparitions
Harding's
from beyond the
narrating.
grave.
Literally, the actual documentary is on YouTube. Go check it out.
The Cumbrian
All
region
4.
is in the northwestern part of England.
Let me
And for
pause.
hundreds of
Let me
years,
pause.
Munchausen-
Let me pause. And here's the thing. You see how long this episode is? It's like 21 minutes. The actual documentary of, the Castle Ghosts of England is like 51 or 42 minutes. Depends on which, because there's like many versions of this particular episode where they keep editing some scenes that are missing. But still, the fact that they have to edit this short, because remember, this is on television, so, the short like the, Well, the actual documentary, which came out in TLC, the Learning Channel, yes. Back when it was called the Learning Channel, now it's called the Lying Channel. But yeah, let's continue watching, shall we?
Windsor Castle has been a part of the landscape. A silent witness to wicked deeds. Visitors have been frozen in their tracks by an unexplained
I
sound.
just love. I seen the documentary and seeing this like back to back, still by many edits, trying not to copy the actual one, but it's pretty cool. Because we recommend this for after.
Of this man might
This
have
doesn't
been
come out in
caused
2000, so
Skelton.
yeah,
In
20
the
something years ago.
1500s, he was part of the castle staff. The Pennington family's last court jester. They say he knew Shakespeare and was the model for the fool in King Lear.
King Leo.
They even called him Tom Fool, the inspiration for the word tomfoolery.
Jesus.
In 1585, Hellwise Pennington.
If you want to see
daughter
the
of
original
castle
documentary,
lord,
I'll leave a link
started
below
scandal.
along with this one, so you actually see the difference between this
She was a
one
noblewoman
from Truth or
with a
Scare and the
rebellious
actual
streak,
one
and a strict
by
father who refused
by
to tolerate
Harding.
disobedience. Sir William had arranged for her to marry the son of another powerful family. But no one could tell Hellwise who to love. Her heart belonged to a common carpenter from the village. Even though they tried to keep their romance a secret,
No.
they couldn't fool
Jesus
Tom Fool.
Christ. You know what's funny? While watching
Sir
this,
William was furious.
I forgot how they put the logo of the
He
Scary
ordered
Kids
his
on
jester
top
to break
instead
up
of the
the happy
bottom.
couple.
Jesus
whatever
Christ.
means
Seeing that old
necessary.
logo brings back memories
Tom Skelton came
from
up
the
with
good
a
old
plan.
days. Now
He
it's
invited
just.
the carpenter up to
It's
Muncaster,
not the hub
pretending
anymore, it's just
Hellwise
another
wanted
name
to
now.
see
The
him.
Family Channel? I
A
don't
simple
know.
lie
Been
that the
years
young man
since.
couldn't resist. Tom promised that Hellwise would be there soon. He offered the carpenter a drink
Bullshit!
of a potent cider. and then another.
Man, that's...
When Hellwise Pennington's boyfriend passed out, Tom reached into the carpenter's tool bag. He found a chisel and a mallet. And then he ended the man's life.
If you're wondering why they cut the scene, I know which scene they cut
The
off.
servant had stopped Hellwise's
If
relationship
you
dead
didn't
in
notice,
its tracks.
they cut the scene where
But some say
they
you can
just
still
cut the
hear the
scene
carpenter
where
in the
it shows his
halls of the
silhouette
castle
cutting
to
the
this
guy's
day.
head off with the chisel.
Over 400 years later, Patrick
Hey.
Pennington can't deny that he has heard the echoes of Muncaster's gruesome history.
I thought it was rather silly, the story, but then,
Hey, this
been here a
guy.
little while. We used to work terribly hard, started in the office at 6 in the morning. And after tea,
I'm having deja vu because that voice sounds too American.
and there were footsteps used to follow me.
I don't know. I gotta rewatch it, the original documentary, and it was actually redubbed by the actor. Because remember, he's talking with Hardy in this scene right there. Yeah, that explains why.
And I've tried it with sort of shoes that didn't make a noise.
No,
always heard
I'm wrong. I think that's the actual voice. Okay.
Tom Skelton lost his life a few years later.
I wonder
when
if
he
they
drowned in
edit
the
off
cold,
the
dark waters
Harding's
of the River
voice
Esk.
because remember, they have to
Even the
redub
master
this
trickster
for
couldn't
Michelle to
fool
direct the
fate.
story, not him.
Today, every thump in the night leaves the castle's new inhabitants to wonder. Did he ever really leave Muncaster Castle?
Yeah, I forgot the cutscenes.
Which
Yeah.
of England's famous queens is reportedly still
Oh, yeah.
haunting the halls of Sudeley Castle? Find out next on Truth or Scare.
Hey, Kid the Shark.
The Gaggle is back on Discovery Kids.
Damn. I forgot the cuts. Damn.
Our next stop is Sudeley Castle. Over the years,
Sorry,
Sudeley
Mouse,
has
that's
seen
back
more
up
than
again.
its share of suffering. Some people say that intense emotional forces could have left an impression on the castle stones. An imprint so strong that they believe they see ghosts walking through the halls.
She looks like 18 or 19 this one, right? Back in the early 2000s, like 2000 right there. Because this is the first episode. This came out on October 25th of 2000. So she was like 19 at the time. I don't know.
Unearthly presence.
This was before Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I believe.
Employees have heard
I don't
inexplicable
know.
sounds
You
in the
gotta
castle
check.
and smelled apple-scented perfume. The strangest stories are about the appearance of a tall, beautiful woman
I think I
in a
didn't
long
notice
green
something.
dress.
At Munster Castle,
The lady
there were
of the
two
house,
stories about that.
Catherine Parr.
I think they cut the other one because it was a bit too gruesome. Like,
Catherine was known for her intelligence
Really?
and artistic talent. She was also exceptional for being nearly 6 feet tall, with stunning auburn
damn,
hair.
that little big woman.
She's famous for being King Henry VIII's sixth wife.
How big was King Henry?
Last.
Like 5 foot, so
When
he
Henry
likes big
VIII
women.
died in
I
1547,
guess this one, she
Catherine
must
married
keep her
this
head.
man, Thomas Seymour. He was an ambitious man, desperate to climb the political ladder.
A
A
buccaneer.
man who would do anything for power.
No shit.
When Catherine accepted his proposal, he'd gotten what he'd wanted. They moved here, to Sudeley. In just a few months, at the age of 35, Catherine was pregnant. In
Damn.
the 16th century, this must have seemed like a miracle, as women that age hardly ever had children. The castle buzzed with excitement and celebration, as everyone prepared for the birth. Then,
Dope.
tragedy struck. Catherine gave birth to a baby girl named Mary, but all was not well. The new mother came down with a fever. A week later, she passed away. Everyone at Sudeley Castle was in shock. Everyone. That is, except her husband. Instead of grieving for his wife, Thomas Seymour left his newborn daughter.
He was
and
stepping
moved
for
on to London.
her daughter,
He proposed marriage
stepdaughter,
to a
Queen
string of
Princess
other royal
Elizabeth.
women, but it was turned down by everyone. Eventually, he was beheaded for treason.
Guess who?
No
Queen
one knows what
Mary,
happened to
Bloody
Mary.
Mary. When he tried with her,
But as for her mother,
off of his head.
some claim that Queen Catherine's spirit is not resting in peace at all. Employees of the castle have allegedly witnessed the return of the Queen. Like the maid, Margaret Parker. One day when Margaret was cleaning, she thought she saw a woman standing at the window.
Hold it.
She assumed it was one of the guests,
Sorry about
a
that.
visiting artist.
My allergies started to kick up again.
The artist had just come down from the nursery, so it couldn't have been her.
Uh-huh.
And who was that at the window? Many in the castle believe it was the image of the former queen. If it is Catherine Parr haunting her old home, she doesn't bother anyone. People who live and work here consider her a friend.
Night-night, Katie.
I like it how the people who work at the castle, at Sue Castle, actually acknowledge that Queen Catherine is her spirit is still around the castle. In the actual documentary, they talked about this more thoroughly, like her husband being an opportunist buccaneer, which that's what Harding described him in the actual documentary. That he was trying to gain power for he went to Princess Elizabeth, aka future Queen Elizabeth I. It didn't work, so he married her mother, well, stepmother. And when she died, he went back to Princess Elizabeth. Nope. And then she tried her sister, Queen Mary, aka Bloody Mary. Well, you already heard what Michelle said. Off of his head. Which Elizabeth described him as, there a day, die a man with less, I forgot what he mentioned that quote, but it describes less empathy. I'll leave the link on the documentary. You can see it for yourself. But like I said, the documentary, there have been like many versions of this. Like, I'm not joking, like many versions. Mostly edits. There'll be one scene missing and another be here, not, But let's go back here, shall we?
After she died, Catherine's daughter Mary disappeared from the history books.
Okay. Look at that.
To this day, no one knows what became of the unfortunate orphan. Some speculate that after 400 years, mother and daughter are still trying to find each other, here at Sudley Castle.
Hey.
The 19th century
Oh, we're going to this
housekeeper
one.
who ruled Sudley Castle with an iron fist, and reportedly
The head
still
maid.
does.
What up, bitch?
Next on Truth or Scare.
Okay, what's the next pop-up?
The Gaggle will be back on Discovery Kids. The Gaggle.
Damn, these old,
Discovery Kids.
bumpers. Shit.
Sudley Castle is the scene of many so-called ghost sightings. Some say even the spirit of a loyal servant still shows up for work. After lying abandoned for almost 200 years, Sudley Castle came to life again in the 1800s. It was restored and renovated, and new owners moved in.
Guess who bought it?
Human residents, and some say a few roommates from the other side.
I think I might
Some feel a
be
restless
confusing
Victorian soul
on who
is
actually bought
responsible for the
Sylvie.
latest sightings
No,
at
it's not
Sudley.
Randolph Hearst, the famous newspaper magnate.
Today,
I think he bought the
Elizabeth
castle
Ashcombe
from
owns the
Wales,
castle.
not this one.
She heard the story of
think I
Janet
confused
from
a
her
story,
husband,
so
Mark Dent
my bad.
Brocklehurst.
Well, her name is Janet.
Oh, this
and
guy.
she was the housekeeper here for many, many years. She was here for 50 years. My late husband, Mark, He used to tell me stories about her when he came home from school, but she was still here, and everyone's still terrified of her. And she was still ruling the
No
roost
shit.
with the iron glove.
If you don't know about Janet, is that
And so
she's
that's why I
like
think
the
she's
okay,
still
yeah,
here.
okay.
She
In the
just won't
hierarchy
give
of
it
the
up.
household, you have the butler and the maid, like the head maid, in charge of the rest of the
As
staff.
housekeeper, Janet, along with the butler, was responsible for managing the rest of the staff. Together, they made sure that everything ran like clockwork. There were very strict social rules about how and when boys and girls could interact with one another. And it was Janet's special mission to see that the boys and girls stayed in their own rooms. Janet would watch over the girls to make sure that nobody got into trouble. Even today, they say Janet still has the run of Sudley Castle. Young girls who come into the building seem to attract the housekeeper's attention.
They don't use a scene where Janet's actually in the doorway of the girls' dormitory with a cat in her arm, protecting their virtue.
In 1993, a teenager was taking a guided tour of the castle. She told the story of an eerie encounter with something out of this world.
Hey, Queen Elizabeth portrait.
Suddenly, she had a strange feeling. She said it was like a force telling her to go up the stairs.
Don't do it.
When she got to the top,
Sorry, those scared you?
she claims to have seen a vision of the past.
Jesus Christ.
Sudley's castle's current owner hasn't run into Janet herself, but she feels the grounds are definitely home to more than meets the eye.
Sudley is, to me anyway, is just always been had a wonderful atmosphere. And
You can tell they're not
you know,
showing. They're not
often
showing Harding
been in
because
the
he's
garden,
actually
it's
staying
particularly
right
time in
next
the
to her while
evening, the
asking her
light
this
is
question.
certain level and everything like that, and
That's how.
there is
This is how interesting it is.
sense of timelessness here. I can't really explain it, but one merges into it. And I think that all the people who've lived here, our presence is still somehow in this sense of timelessness.
Yeah, there's some see that. There we go. Ooh, what do we have
Two young
here?
princes are spotted playing in the Tower of
The
London
Bloody Tower.
500 years after they died.
Nice.
Next on Truth or Scare.
On Discovery Kids.
Hey.
The Tower of London has been standing for almost 1,000 years, watching over the United Kingdom through some of its darkest hours. What's in the Tower of London itself? Eternal reminders of torture and executions, and possibly the walking spirits of the victims themselves. The Tower of London has been a home to kings and their courts. There's an old saying, he who holds the tower holds the power.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Royal
They
Palace
pause
and
here.
Fortress of Her Majesty's Tower of London.
Hold it.
It looks so harmless now.
Where is it?
It's easy to forget the tower's dark past. Centuries ago, the tower was used as a
Yep,
prison.
this is one of the scenes they were missing in other versions. Yeah.
Back then, it was the site of unspeakable torture and violent death. Hundreds of victims were subjected to the cruelty of the hot poker, the spikes of the Iron Maiden, and, in many cases, the executioner's axe. And some say the victims of these unspeakable horrors often reappear after death as ghostly apparitions.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, World War
World
II.
War II, the Germans were bombing
The
London,
Blitz.
trying to destroy the docks and factories near the tower. Explosions rocked the city during an attack known as the Blitz. Total chaos reigned.
Let me pause here because when I first found the actual documentary, it was missing this segment here, about the Blitz, because it was mentioning there's some segments in Castle Ghosts of England they were missing, Because there is many edits, many versions of this. Some will feature this a longer introduction of the Tower of London. Like you got the history of the Bloody Tower to entering the Blitz. You could mention some of their famous prisoners from Anne Boleyn to Rudolf Hess. You know the deputy Fuhrer of Nazi Germany who left Nazi Germany to negotiate peace. Unfortunately, he was arrested and locked up in the Tower of London. This is one of the things here. And this is one featuring a ghost that was spotted by a sentry during the Second World War guarding the tower. I don't know why they keep editing this. The other three are not that heavily edited, missing things. They're always the same length, but it's always this one because they try to keep in minutes length. But hey, let's continue watching, shall we?
At the tower gates, a terrifying vision was forming. As the legend goes, it was the autumn of 1940. A soldier was guarding the battlement.
Straight to call him Sentry.
There was nothing in his military training to prepare him for these invading forces.
Halt! Who goes there?
4 men came walking out of the mist. Between them, they were carrying some kind of stretcher. The soldier reported that the strange group kept coming closer and closer. He said that they were carrying what looked like a body under a stained, bloody blanket, and they were dressed just like sheriff's officers from the 14th century. Then they disappeared like the mist that had brought them. It's been said this was a vision of the tower's past crimes against humanity. And even more gruesome acts have been committed in other parts of the building.
Sorry,
The Bloody Tower was the site of the ultimate tragedy. People talk about 2 young boys who have been seen playing here in the tower.
Hey, the 2 princes. The nephew of the infamous King Richard.
Believers say that these are the spirits of 2 princes. Richard was 9 and his brother Edward was 12 when they were victims of a shocking crime. Richard III was the boy's uncle. He was ambitious and hungry for power. Sometimes...
Okay, fun fact. There's actually a movie of starring Vincent Price. He plays King Richard III and you know what it's called? I think the Tower of London or Tower of Terror. No, it's Tower of London. It came out in the 60s, black and white. It's actually pretty good, actually. It's a pretty good horror film. Showing the perspective of the crimes of Richard through seeing the spirits of the people he wrongly accused and murdered to get to, the throne. Strange how, ironically, he was murdered in battle, and his remains were found under a car parking lot. You expect a king like him to be buried somewhere luxurious. In reality, he was found under the parking lot. Ain't that taboo?
Called England's favorite villain, Richard was cursed in a number of ways. His enemies described him as a jealous and malicious man, short and hunched over. Some even blame him for a string of unexplained deaths. The princess's father was King Edward IV, the ruler of England. When he passed away, the boys were put under Richard's protection. It was just the chance he'd been waiting for. The boys were the only thing keeping Richard from the throne. As long as they were alive,
not just the boys, king. But other people calling the wards.
So the princes were locked in the Bloody Tower. For their own safety, their uncle said. For months, the locals saw them playing around the tower and in their room. Then suddenly, in the fall of 1483...
How the hell you find fun empty. Playing around a place that has been found with murder
Even today,
for
no
centuries?
One can say exactly how the brothers disappeared. But with them gone, Richard was crowned King of England.
That's fact.
2 skeletons were later found near the tower and identified as Edward and his brother Richard. They were buried at Westminster Abbey.
Yeah, they were found in
Their
a trunk.
spirits, on the other hand, if the witnesses are correct, the souls of the young princess still play in the Tower of London. They seem to be hanging on to each other and this world, as though they know they left it before their time. England's grand estates were home to more than royalty
Oh.
and their courts.
That was it?
Over the ages, they were also the setting for ruthless acts of violence and cruelty. Some believe the tortured souls who lost their lives will not move on to the next world. Of course, no one knows for sure if ghosts really do exist. But those who believe will continue to study the strange sights and sounds that haunt the ancient castles of England.
Yeah, the Black Knight. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Damn. Yeah, I'm playing the credits, so what? It's pretty good, actually. Yeah. Jesus Christ, damn. I was expecting it to be more, actually, because there's actually another half of After the Princess, and it's mostly of the ghost of Anne Boleyn. Well, we all know what happened to her. And there's actually a scene where you see her walking to the executioner, preparing a sword to slice her head off. Yeah. It's a family picture! Damn. It's kind of weird, plus seeing the logo of Discovery Kids back in the day. Whew! Dude, I'm 28, and this came out in 2000. I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 years old. I don't know, like, it's the 2000s, so this came out in 2000, so I was like, maybe 5 or 6 years old when this came out. Oh yeah. This was my first exposure to horror. This one here. and also rewatching it like back when I was in high school, I was like, where did they get the footage from? So like, oh, okay, I'll just watch it. And I actually watched the original documentaries of Castle Ghosts of the British Isles, Star of England, which, oh, that's what I got, but there's some scenes missing, like, yeah. The reason why they edited some of the scenes, because there's some scenes that are a bit too, graphic, like there's one scene of, the first castle they visit, supposedly involved a girl who's in love with another man, but there was another one who was jealous, so she hired guys to murder her, and try to find how to dispose the body, like leave in the field so the dog can eat her. That didn't work. They threw her body in the river, they found the body washed up in the river, decomposed. And we got a tree that has blood. I am not joking. And of course, we got the other one, which is Anne Boleyn. Her story after the princess as well. They should show that one because damn, there's a scene where you see it looks like her, but when she turns around, there's no head. Literally, the wind blowing her veil, and there's no head. And you get to zoom in to the empty void, like, ha! I think I might do a reaction. Okay, I think I might. What I'm gonna do is react to the one that was shown in Truth or Scare, and the other, the actual documentary, which is like 40 minutes long. But hey, now you can see the comparisons between the two and which was the edited version versus the one showed here. But still, I find this show pretty cool. It was actually a cool way to introduce like mystery, paranormal back in this time period. Hey, it's called Discovery. They had like a series called Haunted Hotels, I recall. Okay, that show scared the fuck out of me. They actually have an episode of that as well called Haunted Hotels. They have one of Haunted Hollywood. Another one is called The Curse of Tutankhamun. There's an actual documentary of that. That came out in 1999, I believe. A very good one. It's actually featured as a bonus in Tunstein from season 1. I didn't know that. Cool. That's about the history of Halloween, Dracula, the Wolfman, witches, paranormal stuff, Roswell. Jesus Christ. After watching this again, I forgot the bumper. It's like the old bumpers from Discovery, because the weird little shark jaw things, that. I thought it'd be like a bumper for Kenny the Shark. Okay, it's pretty cool to see that bumper. I didn't expect that. But yeah. It's kind of, you miss the old days, like, from... Okay, television now is like, boring. Back then, you have like nostalgia. It brings like a burst of memories to us back in the day, but hey. Luckily, I like who managed to preserve these episodes, because some of these, okay, episodes like these will be lost like that. But thanks to technology, we have DVDs, VHS, we just record them. There we go. Sorry. But yeah. That was a good episode. I might do a reaction of the original documentary. What I'm going to do is, I have to repeat myself because there'll be people in the back too hard of hearing. I might do a reaction on the original documentaries for each episode. Like, now I've seen this version of Castle Goes to England. I'll be looking at the original source, which is on public domain on YouTube, which, yeah. It's on Amazon, and you can watch it. It said it was owned by PBS, but... PBS? Seriously? The home of Arthur and that? Yeah, imagine the kids. Oh my god, Catholics! Yay! 40 minutes later. Mommy, I made a mess in my trousers. Damn. But yeah. And if you were wondering, the original series came out on TLC. Yeah. Back when it was actually shows real education. Not now. But yeah. I think I might do a reaction of the original source as well. Until then, if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video. We're almost 10K. That's pretty cool. Hey, let's speed it up quickly. But until then, if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the bell, subscribe, like this video, comment down below. If you remember this show back in the 2000s, hey, put a thumbs up if you remember this. If not, if you've seen this was on the Hub. Oh yes, they actually showed this show on the Hub as well, along with their others like The Haunted Hour. That's a good show as well. A more darker version of Goosebumps. Well, there is also Fear Street, but that's a movie. But until then, see you next time, people. See ya.